Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Janavalabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Eighth canto, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations. Does anyone know why it's called Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations? Thank you. No? Nobody does. Is there any indication that we could think of why it's withdrawal? Okay. All right. Chapter 24, Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation. Text 14 and 15. So I'll just read 14 and then read 15 together. Tamaha Sakti Karunam Maha Karunikam Ripam Yadobhyo Gati Gatibhyo Dinamam Dinavatsala Katam Visrajase Rajan Bhitam Asmin Surijjave. With an appealing voice, the poor small fish said to King Satyavrata, who was very merciful, "My dear king, protector of the poor, why are you throwing me in the water of the river?" Maybe King Satyavrata was thinking, how is this a poor fish? He's talking to me, right? This is not an ordinary fish, obviously. Where there are other aquatics who can kill me, I am very much afraid of them. Purport. In the Matsya Purana it is said, Ananta Shaktir Bhagavan Matsindrupi Janardana Kridartam Yachayam Asa Swayam Satyavritam Nirupam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead possesses unlimited potency. Nonetheless, in his pastime in the form of a fish, he begged protection from King Satyavrata. Okay, so please repeat after me. Tam Atmano Nugrahartam Pritya Matsya Vapur Dharam Janan Rakshanarthaya Shapharyaha Sa Mano Dadhe Tam Atmanon Grahar. How does it? Tam Atmanon Nugrahartam Pritya Matsya Vapurdaram Janan Rakshanarthaya Shaparya Samanodadhe Tam Atmanonugrahartam Pritya Matsya Vapurdaram Janan Rakshanarthaya Shaparya Samanodadhe Tam Atmanonugrahartam Pritya Matsya Vapurdaram Janan Rakshanarthaya Shaparya Samanodadhe. Would you like to chant? Any online reciters? Okay. Tam unto the fish. Atmanaha, personal. Anugraha artam, to show favor. Pritya, very much pleased. Matsavapudaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a fish. Ajanan, without knowledge of this. Rakshana artaya, just to give protection. Shapharyaha, of the fish. Saha, the king. Manaha, the mind. Dadhe, decided. Okay, all right, let's see here. Translation. To please himself, King Satyavrata, not knowing that the fish was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, decided with great pleasure to give the fish protection. Purport. Here is an example of giving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead even without knowledge. Such service is called Agata Sukriti. King Satyavrata wanted to show his own mercy, not knowing that the fish was Lord Vishnu. By such unknowing devotional service, one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Service rendered to the Supreme Lord, knowingly or unknowingly, never goes in vain. Om Ganita Vedandasya Gananjana Shaka Chakshula Meditamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Kridava Chalam Pangam Langai Tegirin Yakipatamaham Bande Shri Gurunditaranam Ban Chakapadri Bishcha Kripasindavevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We understand that it is better to do something in knowledge than in ignorance. In other words, it's good to know what we're doing. That's our general understanding. Although we see that in the beginning of one's Krishna consciousness, or when one takes the Krishna consciousness, a lot of the times one is doing something, one may be doing something beneficial for themselves unknowingly or uninformed. It's like uninformed neophyte. That's not meant to in a derogatory way or something, but just uninformed. We may be doing so many beneficial things, but we just don't understand. Just like a child, the child who, is a good parent or good parents or good parent, they don't understand exactly what the parent has done for them when they're young, but over time they begin to understand that more and more with maturity. So when we look at this principle of Agata Sukriti, unknowing, doing something in ignorance, although it's beneficial for us, that is usually some of the first steps in our Krishna consciousness. In the Harinam Chintamani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Harinam Chintamani, which he says that the devotees will consider this book more valuable than life itself. He describes different types of sukriti or pious activities. He says there are three varieties of pious activity. One, he says, karmonmukhi, or piety derived from fruitive activities. Two, jnanamukhi, or piety derived from the cultivation of knowledge. And three, bhaktyamukhi, or piety derived from devotional service. So he says here that the first two result in enjoying the fruits of action and in liberation, respectively. However, bhakti admukhi involves faith in and appreciation of pure devotional service. Such exalted piety is achieved by unknowing performance of pure devotional service, without spiritual knowledge, agata sukriti. Bhakti admukhi is the most important kind of sukriti, and it leads the jiva to meet a pure saintly devotee. By associating with a devotee of Krishna, the jiva's faith becomes firm. Gradually, he develops a taste for chanting the holy name, becomes compassionate toward all beings, and is fixed in devotional service. Is there some talk about who's cooking breakfast?
Yeah.
Who's supposed to cook breakfast? Dweja Money?
Makes on Thursdays.
Oh yeah. Govardhan makes on Thursdays.
Oh, you can switch. Okay.
So Govardhan. So somebody cursing Govardhan in their mind right now. Hey Govardhan, Haribo. Well, what should we do? I think it's appearance of one acharya, right? It's like a half-day fast. Which acharya is that? Make one up. Yeah, Uli acharya. Half-day fast for Uli acharya. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there's, you could say, ordinary pious activity or Gata Sukriti. Then there's one that is related to Krishna, related to devotional service. So doing some type of help for somebody who is a non-devotee, or doing some type of good activity in this material world. You can say it's like produces some type of material piety. But then there is the Agata Sukriti that leads us to Krishna consciousness gradually. And that is, for example, can anyone think of some examples of Agata Sukriti? Yeah, somebody gives a donation to a devotee and they use that for Krishna consciousness. Somebody hears the holy name of Krishna. What else? Can you think of any other things? Give a devotee a good discount when they're printing books or something. Give him a discount on the kirtan parties at the Airbnb or something. So there's different things that people could do unknowingly to in service to Krishna or in service to a devotee. And that benefits them. Of course, we have to be careful with that type of understanding because it doesn't end there. It's not that we're a movement where we just want to build up everybody's pious sukriti and just leave it at that. For example, we just say, Hare Krishna, all right, I benefited him, all right, saved one guy, keep on going. Or we're at the grocery store, instead of saying, have a nice day, we say, Jai Radhe, right? I benefited that person unknowingly. So that's all good. I mean, it's unknowingly some type of benefit there. But we don't want to leave it at that. It's not that we're a movement where we're just going around just trying to unknowingly benefit everybody, but we want to go further, and in that it's an educational movement. We want to bring people to the point of learning about Krishna, to the point of practicing devotional service, to the point of knowing what they're doing, ultimately, the point of wanting to become devotees. And it does happen. Sometimes devotees may go out on book distribution, or they may go out and try to give Krishna consciousness to others, and they may wonder when somebody's going to come around. It's like, I passed out so many flyers, I distributed so many books, when are people going to show up? For God's sake. But that going out and meeting people, people need to encounter devotees over and over and over again. A lot of people. And then they think, well, I got a book at Southwestern, my college class came in and visited the temple. I saw a chanting party out in Pacific Beach. My friend gave me a book, whatever, and like that. And they think, okay, let me stop by. It's like after numerous encounters, okay, let me stop by. Sometimes people really take a while. So, and just recently, relatively recently, like devotees went to that, I forgot what it's called, some spiritual church. What is that? Do you remember what that was called? Where Abby was? I think it was. I think it was in. Anyways, wherever it was, but devotees just went there and had kirtan and distributed some prasadam. And there's a bunch of people there. And but one of them, Abby, she comes to the temple regularly. So she started coming to the temple after that. So she came by. She kept on coming. She's still around. You also have, when we went down to Chula Vista to that kirtan down there and that yoga center, you have Eddie and Ferdy. They started coming around after that. You also have Nilesh and Aditya. They were hanging out at SDSU for quite a while. And then devotees went over to SDSU. They started a little program temporarily. It's like a few months. But then Nilesh and Aditya, they started coming around like quite a lot. So if devotees just make themselves available, then we see people will show up. So we don't want to just leave it at, okay, I just Hare Krishna, or here's a simply wonderful, okay, you're saved, buddy, and just keep on going. But that's part of it, but there's more to it. So in relation to Agyata Sukriti, in the 6th canto, chapter 2, text 18 and 19, there's a nice verse which I'll share with you. Here it is. About the holy name, a Jama delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. So this is about the holy name. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. If a person unaware of the effective potency of this is the next verse. If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge, because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. That's something in relation to not knowing. So medicine, whether we know how it works or not, it works. We don't exactly know how, generally speaking, a lot of people don't know how medicine works, but they take the medicine and it has its effect. So similarly, we may not know how devotional service or how chanting is affecting us positively, but it's stated here that it works. It has its effect. And if another verse in relation to the holy name, there's some examples of Agyata Sukriti in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 26. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is about a Jamil. We'll read the verse in the purport short. When a Jamil chewed food and ate it, he called the child to chew and eat. And when he drank, he called the child to drink also. Always engaged in taking care of the child and calling his name, Narayan, a Jamil could not understand that his own time was now exhausted and that death was upon him. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is kind to the conditioned soul. Although this man completely forgot Narayan, he was calling his child, saying, Narayan, please come eat this food. Narayan, please drink this milk. Somehow or other, therefore, he was attached to the name Narayan. This is called Agyata Sukriti. Although calling for his son, he was unknowingly chanting the name of Narayan, and the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so transcendently powerful that his chanting was being counted and recorded. That's another case. So we have a Jamil, that's an example of a Gyatu Sukriti. He was in ignorance and illusion, rejecting his chaste and cultured wife and his parents, kicking them out of the house and moving a very questionable woman in, and engage in all types of sinful activities to maintain her, and very sensually attached. When he was, when Narayan was a young boy, he was, I think, in the 80s, a very sensual person. But he was always chanting Narayan. So it had a benefit, a Gyatu Sukriti. That's what's being mentioned here. So you have one example, Jamal. You have another example. Do you think you could look at it on your phone? Oh, you don't have your phone. No, that's okay. Somebody else. Yeah, Matthias. Can you look up and bring me your phone, please? Confiscate your phone. Actually, back to Kevin. That's how he got. Anyways, he got kicked out of. He's a substitute, and he confiscated someone's phone, and they got really agitated and made a whole case against him. And that's one of the ways he stopped being a substitute in school. Anyways, he'll tell you about it. Hey, Kevin. Side note, but third canto, chapter 4, text 9. So third canto, chapter 4, text 9. So this is an example. I'll read. This is another example in the Bhagavatam. Let's see here.
Was that a Gyata Sukriti?
What you just did? Of course. No, but I think you knowingly done it, so it's... Okay, so this is Maitreya. After traveling in many parts of the world, Maitreya, a great devotee of the Lord and a friend and well-wisher of the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, reached that spot out of his own perfect accord. So it says here, by some fortunate accident, Maitreya reached the place where Lord Krishna was resting. To meet the Lord is not an ordinary incident. So you're just wandering and you just met him there. Maitreya was a great sage and a learned scholar philosopher, but not a pure devotee of the Lord. And therefore his meeting with the Lord at that time may have been due to some agyatu sukriti, or some unknown devotional service. Pure devotees always engage in pure devotional activities, and therefore their meeting with the Lord is natural. But when those who are not up to that standard meet the Lord, it is due to the unforeseen fortune of accidental devotional service. So that's another example. You have Maitreya Muni, who Srila Prabhupada writes is not a pure devotee of the Lord, but he met Krishna by some accidental or some agyata sukriti. It must have been due to that. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. So it's another example in Scripture. You also have another example. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 7th Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 65. Says here, Prakashananda Saraswati, however, caught Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally by the hand and seated him with great respect in the midst of the assembly. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was going to meet these Mayavadis, and he just was, that part of his method of preaching and part of his general nature is humble, right? Humble, more humble than a blade of grass. So he was just sitting there. All the big sannyasis were up there. He was just sitting where they washed their feet. But he was emanating this beautiful effulgence. And all the sannyasis think, oh wow, Om Namo Narayana Namah, here he is, right? look at this effulgent sannyasi, means I offer my respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Narayan. So he went up there, so Prakashana Saraswati, he brought him by the hand and sat him down respectfully. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, short purport, the respectful behavior of Prakashananda Saraswati toward Lord Chaitanya is very much to be appreciated. Such behavior is calculated to be a gyatu sukriti, or pious activities that one executes unknowingly. Thus, Lord Chaitanya very tactfully gave Prakashananda Saraswati the opportunity to advance in a gyatu sukriti so that in the future he might actually become a Vaishnava sannyasi. So you have these examples. You have Prakashananda Saraswati, you have Maitreya, and you have Jamil. Srila Prabhupada gives these examples. So the idea is that after this builds up, one becomes more and more pious and pious and pious and pious and pious. And then when they come in contact with devotees, when they come in contact with devotional service, when they come in contact with Krishna consciousness, then they're able to take to it. Builds up. They come into the company of devotees. But again, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, as followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, we have to be careful that we don't cheat people. And there's many ways to cheat people, but one way in which people can be cheated is that we just kind of settle on, hey, we'll just give these people a gyatu sukriti. Just Hare Krishna. Here's a simply wonderful. But not try to take them to the higher levels of education, higher levels of practicing Krishna consciousness. This comes out in the form of, if you want to say, devotees trying to simply bring people to the mode of goodness without bringing them higher. I mean, I don't know, some people may argue, hey, I'll be the devotee bringing them to the mode of goodness. Somebody else could be the devotee bringing them to higher levels. I don't know, but it's a type of cheating in the sense that we have something to give people, but we only give them so much. So you have to be very careful about that. We're not interested in just bringing people, just giving them a gyatu sukriti. We're not interested in just bringing them to the mode of goodness. We want to bring them much higher than that. So yeah, we have to be very careful in that regard. And Srila Prabhupada warned his disciples over and over again about not making the temple a weird place. And Prabhupada defined weird place in so many different ways. Some very graphic ways. But all right, so does anybody have any question? Yes, Matthias.
Thank you, Balaram. I was going to ask a question, then you mentioned about the topic of cheating, so it was kind of related to that. So I was thinking that, do you think there could be like misinterpretation from devotees about Agyata Sukriti, that they just kind of like neglect their duties, just expecting people to serve them, and so the people could be benefited. So you have that misunderstanding, and then you're just like...
So you're saying that devotees think that I'm a devotee, so if people serve me, they'll get a gyatu sukriti, and then they just kind of get absorbed in like people serving them, and thinking that, and they think that by them serving me, they'll get so much benefit. Yeah, that's not a good mentality. One shouldn't think themselves a devotee. One should think themselves trying to be a devotee. Just like Srila Prabhupada, in some of the interviews, they'd ask him, "Are you God?" or something like that. And Prabhupada said, "No, I'm not God. I'm a servant of God." And he said, "Actually, I'm not a servant of God. I'm trying to be a servant of God. A servant of God is no ordinary thing." So we shouldn't think or say, "Oh yeah, I'm a big devotee," good devotee, and then by serving people, by people serving me, they benefit. Shouldn't think that. We should be shy or very slow to accept service, if at all we accept service from anybody. Not that we should be eager for people to serve us. That's a real disaster in the brahmacharya ashram when you have brahmacharis there who want to be served. It's a real nightmare. It's like really gross. But the brahmachari should want to serve others, not that, hey, let me be served. It's not good. Now, as a matter of service for others, when one takes on the role of some type of Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru or some type of leadership position, because they have been thoroughly trained in service and in humility, they are supposed to be humble. And as a service for others, they may accept service to train others in humility. How are we supposed to become humble if we're just serving the all-good Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He's definitely servable, but what about the devotees? So it's in a sense, it's more difficult to serve devotees because we think, oh, well, we could serve God, but devotees, okay, I kind of like them, but I don't know how much I'm going to serve them. But so one can take on that position and accept service because they've been thoroughly trained in humility, and they could train others in that humility. That's the principle of the spiritual master. The spiritual master, it's not that he needs disciples to do this or that or so many different things. The spiritual master, they could do it themselves, but the principle of service is there to train people. So that's there. Yes.
What were the examples you used?
Prakashananda, Maitreya, and Ajamil. Yeah. Yes, Chad.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Shoot some more over here.
Sandesh or anything?
Yeah, throw Sandesh my way too.
Hare Krishna. I actually had two thoughts, and they kind of go together. One was when I was going to Balboa Park frequently. Actually, there was a couple times when someone would, maybe pass the table or see you or whatever, not stop, but then maybe down the road, a week or whatever, they'd see you again, and at some point they'd stop.
Yeah.
So just by kind of seeing you, they kind of work up the courage or whatever it is to or Krishna guiding them.
Yeah.
That finally stop.
Yeah.
And so it also made me think of, you don't want to be too, I guess, aggressive or forceful or whatever to introducing or I don't know the word I'm looking for, but getting someone involved in Krishna consciousness, it can be, if you're too aggressive and too forceful, it can be a turnoff for them.
Yeah.
So sometimes, it's maybe a good thing to say Hare Krishna, get them some prasad or something, and then, and then kind of gradually build up on that instead of trying to throw everything out one time.
Yeah, of course. There's already enough aggression in the world from all different types of groups and advertising and everything. It's just a lot of aggressive energy. So yeah, devotees don't really have to do that. They're just out there just trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. And yeah, it's very important that devotees have a sense of detachment while they're doing that. They can't be attached to whether people take a book or not, whether people are friendly or not. They have to be very detached and friendly. And just give, as Vaisheshika Prabhu has trained his disciples and devotees throughout the world, that one of the most important things is just to leave people with a good impression. Not that you could be firm, you could be confident and strong, but you don't have to be aggressive with people. It's New York, you might have to do that. That's another thing. San Diego, probably like more cool, right? Any other place? Yes, saying Hare Krishna, simply wonderful, very important. Yes, Triveda Prabhu and then Dharmaraj.
Just one comment on this, a consciousness of serving the Lord by allowing Him to perform a service that He wants to do for you. If you remember the prayers of Prahlad, after he offered those prayers, and of course, Nrsimhadev was very pleased, and he offered him whatever he wants, and Prahlad, he protested. Right? He said, "I'm born in a demonic family, and don't tempt me, my Lord, please. I'm not a vanik. I'm not a businessman with you." But then, after a few verses like that, he asked for a benediction, because I think he saw that, Nrsimhadev really wanted to give him something, and that's kind of a service, allowing the Lord, to. So, what does he ask for? Yadi dasasi me kaman varang swang vadadarshaba kamanam vidyasang roham babadastu vanevaram. Oh my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction on me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires, which is just like his prayer in the fifth canto, So that's a nice point to remember, that if someone is offering you something, but you really you don't really want anything, then you allow them to do that, but you give them get something in such a way that's within the realm of devotional service, and you can, then please them and please the Lord at the same time.
Yeah.
What verse is this? 7:10:7.
You want to say something? Oh, I see. All right. Any other question? Any online question? Comment? Tapas is there, right? Tapas? He better be there. Tapas? Not there, huh? Oh. All right, try. Granted Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.